Have a nice gay.
Hey, beautiful. It's Saturday, June 19th, 2021. Welcome to Have a Nice Gay, where it's Juneteenth every day for me. I'm Carell from Minority Report, and I'm here with my friend Mike from Gayish. How's it going today?
So great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's great that you bring up Juneteenth. It is Juneteenth. It's our newest federal holiday. And
yes.
I know a lot of people are sort of talking about it, but especially my fellow white people, some of us are wondering, what is it and why is it important?
Yes.
So I have an LGTBQ as promised, but I wanted to talk about Juneteenth first, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. I think it's incredibly important.
Yeah. So a lot of people think or know historically that Abraham Lincoln, quote unquote, freed the slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that via the Emancipation Proclamation, which was in September of 1862. And I think a lot of people, that's as complicated as they think about it. But it actually only affected slavery in the Confederate States. And
right.
It took a very long time for it to actually be implemented. So it went into effect in January of 1863, but it wasn't really enforced in a lot of the country.
Mm-mm.
And Texas was the slowest to come around. And on June 19th, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, a Union Army general named Gordon Granger made the announcement that they would actually be enforcing the Emancipation Proclamation in the state of Texas, thereby actually freeing all of the formerly enslaved people in that territory.
Absolutely. And a lot of folks don't realize that he still had to go through the rest of Texas too. So it's just like, yes, the folks in Galveston were okay. Hey, we're free. We're celebrating. But he still had to make the rounds throughout the rest of the state as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were still some border states that were not Confederate states that were practicing slavery. It took until 1866 for some of them to come around.
Exactly.
It, like most things, it was a big, long process. But
how convenient!
Yeah, but this June 19th, as being sort of the day that it actually happened, began to be celebrated by mostly African American folks starting in 1866 and every year since then. So
yes.
for y'all, it's not a new holiday at all.
Not
right?
at all. Not at all. And it's like, on one hand, you're like, okay, we're glad that it's maybe finally getting its due, because there's been a lot of folks that have fought for decades to get this recognized as a federal holiday. On the flip side, it's just like, we just hope that this isn't the only thing that they're trying to pass in this administration to help the Black and brown communities. And that folks actually realize the true history and the nature of what this day really means.
Yeah, absolutely. And to that end also, trying to bring it back to Have a Nice Gay and what is the queer spin on it. I think it's important for us to realize that when we fight for the civil rights of Black people, we are fighting for the civil rights of queer people. When we fight for the civil rights of queer people, we are fighting for the civil rights of Black people. Yep. And it's been those have been tied together for a very long time. So that brings us to the quote that I wanted to bring for the episode today. Marsha P. Johnson, who is a Black trans woman, was critical, vital, crucial to the Stonewall riots that kicked off the Pride, the reason that we have Pride and Pride Month at all. So David J. Johns, who is the director of the National Black Justice Coalition, has the quote, which is, quote, "Pride Month, to be clear, is an extension of Black History Month." And just trying to drive home the message that in a lot of ways, we're all in the same boat and we should be fighting on the same team and celebrating each other's wins. And
absolutely. It's just like we want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be part of the community, truly. Yeah. There's a lot of layers to it. Yeah. Probably more than we have time for today. But happy Juneteenth. It's exciting. I mean, it's just been something that's been part of our lives, or at least the Black community, for so long that we're just like, oh, it's just part of our lives. It is what it is. Hopefully it just doesn't get too commercialized and Cinco de Mayo and sales at Old Navy for flip-flops. Get the true meaning and realize what the day is about, and honestly, how crazy it is that it took so long for folks to be freed, and that it was that late of a date, quite honestly. So.
Yep. Well, and saying it doesn't make it so, right? Like there are a lot of ways in which we still haven't achieved it, despite it supposedly being true since the 1860s.
That's a whole word. That is a whole word. Well, that's it for today for Have a Nice Gay. Join us tomorrow for This Gay in History. We are Have a Nice Gay Pod on all social media, and our website is haveanicegay.com. We'd love to hear how you commemorated Juneteenth this year. Please email us your story at haveanicegaypod@gmail.com. And until tomorrow, have a nice gay, Mike.
Have a nice gay, Carell.
Have a nice gay.